I'll give you a quick story about this particular event. How many of you have attended Bharat FinTech Summit? Yeah, some of you. We were tired. All the entire team and leadership team was tired after the event, and we were thinking that we're working so much on banking and other segment, but when we come to BFSI, the I is missing in when we do Bharat FinTech Summit. And we work with a lot of clients in the banking industry and the fintech industry, but we've not penetrated much in insurance, and there's a reason behind it. We all come from banking and digital, and a lot of people have been encouraging, saying that if you guys are doing so much on all types of products on lending, secured lending, unsecured lending, payments, and all of that, I think you should enter this market. Now, we were thinking that what should we do? So we started researching on the subject, and we have obviously, in today's session, along with Perfios, we will be releasing a report. But as part of the report generation, we interviewed an amazing number of people. We did research. We actually tried to, as a team, onboarded a lot of insurance companies. Unlike a credit, where if you onboard, your bureau score will go down. Thankfully, in insurance, it doesn't happen, right? So you can go all the way, and then you still cannot do. So we've taken a lot of feedback and a lot of experience on that. Also, we don't know, I mean, I've not gone to the other side, but claim side, we've not gone. My personal experience on insurance has not been so great. I'm underinsured. My business is underinsured. And only after reading so much, I realized that there is a problem out there, right? If something happens to me, what happens to the family? I don't have an answer to that, right? And whenever somebody talks about insurance, I'm always scared. ये मुझे क्या बेचने वाला, right? How many of you got scared of going to a bank and going to the branch and somebody chasing you? Yeah? कुछ तो बेच ले, right? But I think innate need of me demanding for it is something which is difficult. I think that's what we realized, and we thought it's time for us to figure out what happens in the industry. So event was conceptualized. Idea was to get very deeply insightful sessions out here. So I think it may look like a one-day session, but honest answer is that to plan these sessions, who to come and speak for, what should be the subject, it has taken us time. Actually, it's a lot of time. Also, the framework is that we want to have industry leaders to come here, even in audience. So I think, I'll be honest, not a right word, the gray side is higher here. I think the idea is that those who come here should also be talking to each other, and should be decision makers, right? I think largely when we do events and you don't have decision makers, there's no deal which gets done. In our Bharat FinTech Summit experience is that a lot of people get funded, a lot of people really get funded, and some of them are a sponsor as well. And then a lot of people do business, so buyer and seller is important. Why would somebody put a stall here? Sometimes you will say, boss, finally you are here for getting knowledge. You're also here to buy new products, right? A lot of times when we sit as a senior side, let's say if I am a CIO, will I get time to meet a lot of people? And this is the place we try to create, that where you can actually meet one-on-one, see what is possible. It is largely built for the ecosystem itself. It's not, and honestly, this may be a different agenda, but not a place for educating young kids, right? I think it's about collaboration, about networking, and that's how we have conceptualized the event. And thank you for all for joining us. I hope you are liking it. Yeah? Lot of knowledge, and some of those guys are very tough to get, right? I think honestly, I think I'm so happy that Suresh sir came, Kamri sir came, and I got a chance to interact with him in last few months, and each interaction got me more and more knowledge. So in this particular session, I'll give you our predictions, and some of them are not coming from really theoretical perspective. We believe this is what's going to happen, right? It's our perspective. Some of them will be slightly shocking as well. So I think hear me out for that. I think one of the requests I always have for people is that you think we are event organizers. We are not event organizers. We just organize this event because we do consulting. We work with a bunch of guys, and I think good news in the market is that even PMO is looking for looking at Indian consulting firms to come up. I think I'm so happy that we have been there. We have been there for 8-9 years, building it out and working with a lot of entities. So what we do, in insurance, I think DPDP is a very big strength. We are working with banks out there. We can work on that. We also do a bunch of platform benchmarking strategies. We work on deep digital strategy, technology strategy, and a lot of you who would have worked with us in past would have realized none of us are consultants. We are all practitioners, hands-on, that's all we know. Because a lot of times, impractical stuff, some PPDs, something, fridge open, then AI will take care of the ordering, all that nonsense is not required. We need to do what is real grunt work. That's what we do, and our journeys are in the market. I really would not want you to want to call out, but a bunch of journeys which you do on day basis. Some of the platforms we use, largest of the banks, are using journeys built by us. And of course, we can work on insurance partnerships as well. So we know regulations, and this is a set of clients we have worked across. I think many of you would have, we would have met. I think Sciency, for example, we started when Sciency was small, and I was sitting next to them in RISE. A lot of us were in RISE Mumbai. How many of you are RISE Mumbai guys? Not too many, yeah? RISE Mumbai guys. We were in a small place called RISE, which was Barclays had done a co-working place where we came. We started working with them, and I think today we've got all kind of customers out here. There's one thing missing here. Insurance companies, that's what we are about to start working with. Some of them just coming on DPS side, and we will scale from here. Next year we'll meet, you'll see a bunch of guys we would have worked with. And I think we are using all our skills on the complicated areas of secure lending and payments out here. I think this is where the journey looks like. Don't go in text. Fact of the matter is, nobody likes to spend time on any activity, right? You and me would not want to spend any time on any activity. We would want it to happen automatically, right? We are so impatient right now that if the click doesn't happen in 1 or 2 seconds, output doesn't happen, you would want to leave that place. Here is a current scenario where I'm right now trying, and I was telling earlier as well, I'm trying to buy insurance for my family, and every time I look at data, I get really frustrated. I have a policy, I think I have 4 or 5 policies on old. I really don't know how it will work. Sometimes a bonus is written. I don't know what is the meaning of bonus. I bought a policy for my kid, and only time when the insurance company calls me saying, or rather they call me every month, saying, आपसे कुछ बात करनी है. किसको डर लगता है? सबको डर लगता है, पता नहीं क्या होने वाला है. But I have not idea that it is now, when I taken it, it is 20 years almost, and it is maturing. I don't know उसके बाद क्या होने वाला है. I have no idea, right? So I think a lot of things will have to be basically human touch, communication, telling the truth to the customer. When the buying process happens, it is not just AI. It is just ensuring the communication is real, explainable, right? I think, and it's personalized. A lot of the way the policies are right now sold, can it be automated, simplified? And all of us, honestly, are now trained enough to use all the tools which we want. As long as the clarity of thought is there, it can be done. Personalized is critical. Digital first may not be fully digital. I think, I'll be honest, in this segment, you may need advisory as well, because risk levels are complicated. Not everybody can figure out every underlying risks, right? So it will be useful. It will be embedded because the point is, it is very, very expensive to find a customer. Extremely expensive to find a customer, right? So if the customer is already there, can you ensure, and given the cost of selling can be very high, can you ensure that you catch the customer in the right spot, right time? Travel insurance can only be sold when you're flying outside on Make My Trip. You can't do anything more. More and more use cases we find it's good. Automation is crucial. I don't know how to call it better word, but jaldi kar do yaar. I think that the speed of action is critical. Sometimes the speed itself kills you, right? And then on top of that, you have a customer may come back and saying, no, I did not do it, right? So I didn't want it. So those issues. And of course, make it affordable. I somehow feel that we are I'll give you an example going back to secured lending. Secured lending, may you have a processing cost of almost 1% when you, and there's a DSA cost. Almost 2% is lost in onboarding of a customer. Now, in that industry, we are trying to ensure that 2% comes down to maybe more like 1 in next 6 to 12 months in many organizations. It's crucial, right? Because on a 50 lakh loan, you're talking about right now 50,000 rupees spent on partners and 50,000 on operations cost, which is expensive. So because finally it's a cost which is getting incurred by the customer. Now in this case, insurance, the rates are still very high. And finally, who pays for it? It's people, right? So I think one of the things will be that how do we make it affordable, easier to buy, And maybe, I'm not saying commissions structure should go down. All I'm saying is the expansion of business will take care of most of the costs. That's how the world has been operating at. I think this is how the simple life will continue to work. I don't think it is a rocket science. I think from each area of operations, we have to cut down cost, process, automation. It's all real world, which is we have to get in. And of course, we have people like here. I think, Ayan, you'll be happy I've put your name as well here, right? So embedded journeys are there. And embedded journeys have to get better and better. I think we are, at what stage are we on adoption side at the end is less than 1%. I think the sky is the limit. More and more use cases, more interesting use cases, and maybe some complicated use cases as well, right? What we are seeing in the morning on Cover Genius side, those will come. But this is again, basic stuff, we have heard about it. But adoption side is the insurance company having embedded insurance only for sales purposes. Is there claims also there? Can we also service the customer on the platform, right? If I do X on one platform and want to do service address change, can it happen on the platform? Is the nominee communication, nominee change can I do in on partner platform? Those are also crucial, because otherwise what's the point? But let's come back to some pointers which is going to change the market. I think composite, I think when we were hearing Kamlesh sir, he was clearly talking about composite license, what it will do to the market, I think very crucial. Government schemes, both on claim side as well as Bima Sugam, both are very powerful, that they're going to change the market. There's a lot of awareness. I actually, पता नहीं क्यों मैं बोल रहा था कि we should have the way we have mutual fund सही है. The similar campaign should happen, and I just said that, and I just heard that it's now live and up and coming. I was actually telling somebody very unhappily, saying that मेरी wife को कोई बता नहीं सकता कि उसको insurance कैसे मिला है. Now KYC of the nominee has started. So I think a lot of push from a regulator is also positive. We have seen verticalized or segmented insurance companies coming up. There's a schema which is building primarily for crop, which is unique, right? Because only when you go deep, you can solve it better. Example would be that today NBFCs do a better products in many areas than banks, because they're verticalized. They're focused on one certain single product and do it right. As a CIO of a bank, I can tell you that I used to have this problem that only 5 or 10 or 15% of my time will go into lending related changes, because you always have something flying. Whereas if you are in lending, you can build a product for that. That's what you see large unicorns coming up on the lending side, is because of that, because some of them are solving only for a lab journey, some of them are. So there has to be a similar structure which is going to come up. Funding momentum, okay? Now, you may say funding momentum nahi hai. If I look at the past 2 years, even the 6 months, the fact of the matter is the investment has not been very high. But that's going to change. That's going to change dramatically. We believe that, and we've met a lot of investors, and investors today have multiple billions in their pocket waiting to be invested. And generic thought process is that insurance is a segment where the money will go in, because penetration levels are extremely low. When we say 3%, I'm sure we are talking about next 90-95% to be onboarded over the next maybe in around 20-30 years. It's a long-term journey, and it will continue to grow. Unlike credit, where a lot of work has happened, and there's still a lot of gap for MSMEs. But here in this case, the gap is amazingly large. We've just started, right? So I think that's where the expansion will happen. And also, one perspective I've seen is almost all insurers are right now figuring out that how to and what point of time they will actually replace their stack, upgrade their stack. They want to get rid of that mainframe issues which they are right now getting in. And all is paid by the insurers, and all is paid finally by the customers, right? So it all adds up to the cost, right? So I think this is a critical part I have seen, which is one of the reasons why we had a extended session primarily with Rohit to figure out on tech side what is possible. And I would really urge all those who are right now in the ecosystem to see if this side of the problems can be solved as well. Now, these are our predictions based on whatever we think. Some of them are backed by data, and some of them are not backed by data, right? I think this is, I remember predicting that UPI numbers will cross IMPS in 2016. Now, at that point of time, it was way ahead of times. Nobody knew it will happen, and some of them were actually joked at me. Some of them actually, we used to say, Mumbai and India will become fintech hub of the world, or at least, in those days I said Asia. I remember I getting so much of rebuke. I don't know how many of you remember that. I put a post that we'll have a fintech hub of Asia, and everybody came after me, India mein ho hi nahi sakta, Singapore is better, US is better, we should host companies, entities there. You see the transformation, everybody is actually setting up the shops here. So it's a prediction which we are making. First one is that this is again, I was slightly more careful. I said 40%, maybe this number can be 60, 80%, but it is bound to come down. You can't have a policy cost outweighing the benefits which will go to the customer. Finally, the claims is only linked to how much you left on the table, right? If your margins 30, 40% are lost in operations and commissions, then what is left with you, right? And what is left for companies to make profit on? 40% reductions is imminent. Somebody has to do it, and the winner will be those who will actually bring it down and down and down, because that's when you will make it more and more. So when one more point, when we say 3%, 4% people are right now having insurance, nobody's saying that how many of them are properly insured. Within that 3%, I'm also insured, but I'm underinsured by maybe around 80%. That's the case, right? I have taken one product, I've not taken second product. I've taken one product, but that's also taken for me for 30%. My life insurance is only 25 lakh rupees. Serious problems, right? And when you go back and you write you are a smoker, then nobody wants to, you get surprised, right? Saying the rates go up. So that is one. Second is, I think this is again slightly controversial. How can you say there are 20 more insurers which will come in the country next decade? Logically, so we have only 61 out there across all streams. And as a composite license will come, my personal belief is the number will come down, because there will be some acquisition here and there. The numbers will keep coming down. So it has to be a new insurance. The license will come. I think we have seen few coming up in last few years, and more will come. So I think just imagine those. What will those 20 guys? They may actually go and buy new stacks from ground up. They will buy a policy administration system net new. They'll buy a new underwriting engine net new. They will also be ready for AI first, API first as well, because why would you do the same way, which is happening, right? So this, the way innovators will come and change the market, like the way fintechs came, change the banking market. I think that adoption is going to happen. So we should see that many numbers out there. More will also happen here and there, but I'm happy to hear out maybe how this plays out next decade. I think I also believe that pure tech-led, I'm not talking about manufacturers, I'm talking about pure tech-led unicorns are going to emerge, two net new. It's bound to happen, because the way you see on the banking side, you've seen already unicorns on the tech side coming up. The same way you will have it, because the usage, the numbers will change. And insurers tend to pay a bit more than bankers. Honestly, this is very positive news, right? They tend to pay slightly more. So you will have a good profit pool to work in, and all for the advantage of the customer and the insurers. There's nothing against it. So this is bound to happen. This is our view. How it plays out is yet to be seen. Again, onboarding automation, I think it's difficult to say what exact word, but I think my view is that, let's say, people say that the payments can be done automated, but lending cannot be. It has happened. Insurance also will get automated to a great extent. Life insurance will also get automated to a great extent. Will it become a 30-minute journey? I don't know. Will it become a one-day journey? I think so. You should be able to do and turn around and or issue the policy in one day. Maybe that's what will happen. But the life will take care of it. And of course, non-life side is much more prone to real-time issuance, which is going to happen. I think from a pure claims perspective, I think it's a perspective I have, is that finally somebody will have to say that when payments have to be done in that many seconds and the error rates have to come down, something like this will happen, where 90% of claims will happen within a week. And maybe that's how the KPIs will be built. Because you may say that I have, let's say my claim ratio is 98%, but unfortunately it was given when the family had a dire state, which is what the family would be. In terms of non-life, it should really move towards real time, and in a lot of cases it will be on an automated basis, because you know that this claim has happened, flight has got delayed, or some parametric data frameworks will come up. So that should take care of it. I also believe that this is where the money is lying, right? And pool is there to be invested. Almost all investors have money right now. So if you look at it, maybe at least $1 billion should get invested. It is more than what happened in 2021. I'm predicting more than that because that's where the ecosystem looks like. Everybody is looking for investment in it because they're on the payment side, I think they're done with it. Lending side, a great amount of investment has happened. Wealth side has happened. In this side is very underinvested. Even the investment has happened only in 2 segments. Whatever money has gone in is only 2 segments within the Insurtech. One is for manufacturers. So 2 manufacturers have got a fair pie. Then distributors have got a fairly large pie. But if you look at the amount of money which is still to be invested on tech side, it's still not happened, right? So we should see, and even this you will see in the event as well, the guys who are building tech have not got enough funding. So that's going to happen. So this is our thought process. Of course, embedded insurance is going to scale up. The numbers maybe not be very high, abysmal, but that's going to grow at a rapid pace. I think digital first distribution has to be done. Now it can be on the customer side as well as on the insurer side. I think we had the discussion one of the insurers, as the insurer said, told me that the amount of digital insurance we are doing is less than my salary. So that is the amount of insurance which has flown into the market, which is digitally done by the insurers on their own. That's going to change. I think we should see at least 20-30% of business happening on platforms of these companies on their own, because that's where they will be able to improve the cost structures as well. And of course, there's a big issue on persistency side. I hope that persistency issues are also solved. Because I think all the effort is lost if the persistency is not there and you have to start again from scratch. It's more like in lending, somebody prepays after 1 year, right? So you went ahead and did a home loans, and the guy prepays after 1 year. Why did you get him? You would have rather increased the rate because you knew that the guy was going to, it's almost like a PL given at the rate of maybe 8%. So that's a risk. I think that's what we will see. And of course, with so much push from government and so much positive stuff, which we are going to see progress, right? I think I'll pause now, maybe take 1 or 2 thought process, because a lot of you are here, may have a counter view. Any 1 or 2 questions or any 1 or 2 points from your side before we pause? I think you can move on that side, left side. Okay. Yeah, on that side. Yeah. It's there.
Yeah, so it just happened to be coincidental. I was looking at LinkedIn and there was a post that someone had put about the in-journey policy. He'd taken a travel policy for $300 or something, and effectively took him 3 weeks to get it claimed when the flight got delayed. So I think one of the points you made very interestingly, he didn't get the claim. Frustrated, okay. So I think it's an interesting point you make in terms of when you say partner journeys or inline journeys, where you should be able to do anything from those partner portals or those partner journeys. How do you see that being enabled, and do you see any challenges from a regulation standpoint, especially from DPDP and other standpoints?
I'll make it simple. अगर sales के time पे कर सकते हो, तो claims पे कर ही सकते हो, right? I think it's just a more human approach. It's just a way journeys are built. So let's be honest. I've worked on all sides. So in the banking side also, the focus is largely, attention is largely to onboard the customer. Even if you look at it on all platforms, I'll not name any. The push is to sell, and the journeys are built on selling side. So onboarding APIs, KYC APIs, underwriting APIs have been really honed for. But if the customer wants to change address, they have to go to the original company, right? And that's where the buck lies. If I have to change nominee in my FD, I can do FD on any platform. That's what we did. That was not possible, we did this. But if I have to change nominee, you have to go to the original. So I think it's just a mindset issue. And also, I think the fact of the matter is, the way the journeys are thought through, and we start with business first. I think that business side is matured. Now it has to move to the claim side. I would really be thinking that if DPDPA was an issue, then we should not do partnership at all. And we know everything is agent-based. That means that is also not going to work, right? So if banker can have KYC can be used for onboarding the customer, you may be able to do the other side. And if not, if you believe it's not possible, I think as an industry we should push the seams as well and get it done. I don't think there'll be pushback, but I'm not a regulatory expert in this. If it was maybe RBI would have given a better answer, but this side I'm not that good. Yeah.
So, good afternoon. My name is Swati, and I have a startup called Shabd AI, and we work in the space of multilingual content, and we work with a lot of insurance companies. And one thing that I have seen in my professional capacity as well as personal is that fundamentally, why is life insurance, or any, especially life insurance, but other insurance also, why is it so complicated? Why are the products so complex? Because I feel that everyone's talking about, when you talk about digital journeys, when we talk about things like persistency, awareness, all of that, I think one reason why that it is because when a policy is created and the document is given to you, you really require a different level of financial understanding to decode what you have really signed up for. There's a lack of understanding, and that leads to lack of trust, and the whole thing, penetration, etc., gets impacted. So when you're talking about all of this and Bima Sugam and maybe a composite license, are we looking as an industry, and I know it's a very, it's not like a easy answer, but is there a way to just make things more simple so that people are actually able to adopt? Like term insurance, it's obviously an easier product, but then it sells also. Digital sales of that is very high. For others, it's just so much more difficult.
I think every industry evolves, and I mean, all the people I've spoken in this event, before this event, in all my engagement, all of them are pro change. I'm yet to meet a person who's resisting change. Everybody knows that this will get done, has to get done. It's a part to it, right? So for example, we are from a world where we used to issue checks and we used to have DDs, right? If you tell anybody what is DD, they will say, what is DD, right? Kya baat karte ho? So the world will change, right? I think it's a cycle, and the cycle is evolving, right? That's what I'm saying, the cycle is evolving. It will play out over next 5 to 10 years. Let's put it like that. Now, we can always say aisa nahi hai, but if you look at the leaders now, they're so pro-change, and they know that they have all to gain, because if 3% becomes 10%, the business will anyway grow. So I'm not believe that industry is not willing to change. I also be honest that this industry is more complicated than maybe my understanding is the lending industry. Much more complicated. The nuances are different. The products are different. There you are playing with only capacity of the person to play and intent to pay, right? Here you are figuring out he is taking life. Something can happen any point of time. Somebody has taken health. Somebody has taken maybe a vehicle insurance. Now, if you look at general, there are so many varieties. It is tough to figure out. And then you have products which are where you have ULIP, you will have. So the point is, this industry is far more complicated. I heard from a very senior guy. He says, for 1 year, I will not. Some of you may have met him, and you will understand who it was. Somebody said that he moved from banking to this industry, and for 1 year he did not stay at home. He and he stays in Mumbai only. Took a home next to office, so that he wanted to spend that much of time to figure out what is happening, from underwriting to claims and all. And that's how it takes, right? Because it's far more complicated, right? It's easy to say, isme hota hi kya hai? But bahut hai. Because if you can get wrong, and you have to get wrong over 20, 30, 40 years. An average life of a home loan is actually 5 years. And life insurance for life, right? So it is what it is. And I even think about it, data migration you can do for loans, and you can say, oh, it's okay, 5 saal, koi baat nahi. Yahan to pata nahi kab tak. Banda 100 saal bhi ji sakta, right? So it is what it is, right? So I think this industry has to have more empathy to the guys who are running it, because they're still working with the leaky old systems as well. So they also are bound to transform with a period of time. So let's give this industry some time, maybe next 5 to 10 years. And UPI movement may not come immediately, but ultimately it will come as we learn more. And maybe let's think about it, very simple aspect. I'll pause now. I'm sure I'm breaching the time. We are in our education system, we are taught all that stuff. शाहजहां से लेकर अपन कहाँ चले जाते हैं, right? Geography में सब चले जाते हैं. अरे लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ही पढ़ा देते हैं, राइट? सो आई थिंक वी दिस इज ऑल्सो अबाउट एजुकेशन सिस्टम टू बी चेंज. मैं उतना ऊपर तो नहीं जा सकता, बट फैक्ट ऑफ द मैटर वी आर टॉट एवरीथिंग एल्स बट नॉट द बेसिक्स, राइट? सो मे बी दिस हैज टू कम in the local life of normal people as well, right? And one question you should be asking to each other is, are we fully insured as a wife or husband or kid? Can I tell my kid that you should take your insurance now, right now, because you will have a lesser insurance cost at later stage, and you will be also need at later stage. I can't tell my daughter right now because मुझे डर लगता है उसको मैं कैसे बोलूँ कि तुझे इंश्योरेंस लेना चाहिए कुछ समय के बाद. Just a thought process, right? So I think it will happen over a period of time. I'm not the best judge, but I think the prediction which I'm making is, I stand by it. Let's see how it plays out over a period of time. Thank you, and thanks a lot for your support. Thank you, guys.